Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Happy Saturday to everybody. I hope and I trust that your weekend is going good so far. Today here on the channel, I want to do another 2024 early season preview for a college football team. I feel like I have not done one of these in a couple of weeks, and I try to do about one per week starting around April or May up until the season starts, just for craps and giggles, because we know, none of us know, no matter how much you know, you don't know. And they're always random. And today I'm going to do the Auburn Tigers or the Auburn War Eagles. They should just fix it and call themselves the Auburn War Eagle Tigers, since they don't know what they want to call themselves. And the reason why I picked Auburn is, if you follow the comment section on the channel, and hopefully you do, because hopefully you comment, but if you follow the comment page, you know I've been getting a lot of comments recently, and I thoroughly enjoy that, and I promise I do eventually respond to every single comment that I get, whether I know you personally or not. I do over time eventually respond to every comment that I get, but I've been getting a lot of comments lately on just about every video that I do, and hopefully you're not just commenting, but you're also watching the videos. But one day this past week, I got a comment. I want to say it was from two ladies who actually talk sports and have their own YouTube page. I want to say it was them, but with all the comments I get now, I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But I think it was two ladies, and they commented and said, "Go War Eagle," and just off the cuff, just making a prediction, I commented back and said 7-5. And then I thought about it and said, you know what? I'm saying 7-5, and I have not even seen Auburn's schedule. But they were 6-7 last year, 3-5 in the SEC, and I just logically, off the cusp, didn't think they'd go from 6-7 to 9-3 in 1 year, 10-2 in 1 year, although it is possible. So I thought, you know what, I need to look over their schedule and see if they are going to go 7-5, or can they do better than that. As always, any thoughts on this, please feel free to let me know. At quarterback, for the second year, they have Peyton Thorne, who used to quarterback Michigan State. I think he was there from 2019 to 2022 and then transferred to Auburn. So this will be his second year with the Auburn Tiger War Eagles. And then they have Derek Nix, who is now their running back coach and offensive coordinator. Last year, their offense was, it was meh. It was there, but it wasn't explosive. It wasn't exciting. It was just an average offense, and that's what it was. And it's surprising that Hugh Freeze, who has always been known as a offensive genius and an offensive guru, just put out a meh offense. I do think their offense is going to get some better this year, but last year, the reason why they were competitive, even in most of the games they lost, was because of their defense. I think their offense is going to get better, but I think their defense is going to get worse. And that's why I don't see them getting significantly better, because, yeah, the offense is going to be better, but I think the defense is going to be worse. But Hugh Freeze seems to always coach his best games against the better teams. Last year, they hung with Georgia for the better part of 3 quarters, and they took Bama down to the wire. And that was probably the 2 best games they played last year, even though they lost both games. It's the 2 games they looked the best in on both sides of the ball. But they've got 4 easy non-conference games. Their toughest non-conference game, I guess, would be New Mexico. And when New Mexico is your toughest non-conference game, you don't have any tough non-conference games. But they open up on August 31st against Alabama A&M, September 7th against California, September 14th, New Mexico, September 21st, Arkansas, September 28th, Oklahoma, and then opening up October, on October the 5th, they play Georgia, and then they have their first bye week in week number 7. Coming back on October 19th against Missouri. Then they play Kentucky on October 26th. They open up November on the 2nd with Vanderbilt, and then they have their second bye week in week number 11. Then they finish out the regular season final 3 games, November 16th against Louisiana Monroe, November 23rd against Texas A&M, and November 30th against, of course, Alabama. Now, Louisiana Monroe used to be a pretty good team, and in years past, if you had them on your non-conference slate, I mean, you knew it was a game you were going to win, but it'd be competitive. Most people either don't know or have forgotten that Nick Saban's first year as Alabama head coach, they lost to Louisiana Monroe, but of course nobody wants to talk about it because you're not allowed to say anything derogatory about Nick Saban. But his first year at Alabama, he lost to Louisiana Monroe. That was all the way back in 2008, I believe. But Louisiana Monroe used to be pretty good, but these last few years they've been absolutely pitiful. But I've got Auburn winning all 4 of their out-of-conference games. I really don't see Alabama A&M, California, New Mexico, or Louisiana Monroe even competing. That should be 4 easy wins. And then in conference play, I've got them defeating Arkansas, who is not going to be very good. And then they're going to defeat Missouri. They're going to beat Kentucky. And they're going to beat Vanderbilt. So 4 conference wins, and I've got them losing to Oklahoma, Georgia, and then finishing out the season by defeating or losing to Texas A&M and Alabama. So 4-4 in the SEC, 8-4 overall. That's not a bad season at all. I could easily see them switching around, maybe Missouri or Kentucky and A&M. In other words, I could see them, instead of losing to A&M, I could see them beating A&M and then losing to either Missouri or Kentucky, which would still put them at 8-4. But I've got them losing to A&M because that game is late November, and I know A&M has a brand new coach this year, but I think by late November they'll have things figured out, and I just don't think Auburn's defense is going to be any good. So I think A&M will outscore Auburn and win that game. But Auburn pretty much starts out the season great because their first 5 games, Alabama, A&M, California, New Mexico, Arkansas, and Oklahoma, are all home games. So their first 5 games are at home, and then they've got a bye week right after Georgia. So I think they'll lose to Georgia, but it shouldn't be a hangover game when they play Missouri because they have the bye week after Georgia. But a lot of people think they might upset Oklahoma because it's Oklahoma's first actual true road game of the season, and Oklahoma has a brand new quarterback, and we don't know how good or bad he's going to be. And Auburn can be a tough place to play, but I still think Oklahoma is better than Auburn. So I've got Auburn 4-4 in the SEC, 8-4 overall, losing to Oklahoma, Georgia, Texas A&M, and Alabama. Any thoughts on this? As always, please feel free to let me know. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Sadly, globally, all dance styles are going down in popularity. The great news in Ireland, well, the jig is up. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.